So a couple days ago, I decided to break my hand, my left dominant hand, just to make it harder on myself. And instead of curling up into a little ball and crying about it, I thought this would be the perfect opportunity for me to get my right arm up to the size of my left arm, because my left arm has always been kind of bigger just because my left arm is my dominant one. So let's see if in the coming 4 to 6 weeks I can get my right arm to the size of my left arm, or will it get even bigger? Will it remain the same? Who knows? We'll find out.
So the starting measurements, left arm unflexed is around 34 centimeters, flexing 37, I think, around 33 centimeters, unflexed, and flex is about 35 and a half.
So those are the baseline numbers. I've always struggled to get as good of a mind-muscle connection with my right arm compared to my left. So let's see if just training my right arm will improve that. And will my left arm get smaller? How much strength will I lose? We will find all of that out. Now, my main concern that I haven't even thought about is, yes, the workouts are going to be way quicker and probably easier, but how am I actually going to train chest and back? Am I just going to have to skip it? Am I going to get really small? Am I going to lose all my strength? Am I going to have to figure out some crazy niche exercises to be able to train without using my hand? We'll figure it out. Bro, I've been trying to work out with no earbuds lately, and it's been so hard. The gym radio has been playing the same 10 songs on repeat every single day. I know the entire playlist off by heart. It's so unbearable. It's so bad. I get why every single person in here is wearing AirPods. Alright, so this is the first session after breaking my arm. Obviously going to be a bit of a unilateral dominant session. As you can see, I'm on the Prime machine row. This machine is actually quite nice. I personally hate chest supported rows for some reason. They all just feel super weird for me, especially when I progressively overload for a bit and get to some heavier weights. But this one does feel a bit weird using one arm, because it's leathered to have both handles move, so it's kind of weird to just have one floating around. I don't think I went back to this one. I think after this session, I just moved on to a normal cable row, which I personally find better. I know it's not as stable or whatever, but I like this machine because there is a cam system on it. So if you put it in the number 3 slot, it means it's heaviest in the lengthened position, which is where your back has the most leverage. So the weight kind of feels the most consistent throughout the movement. All right, so this is the only chest movement I had during these upper sessions. This is a bit of a convoluted movement. It's kind of a high to mid cable incline chest fly press variation, cuffed in as well, so I can actually use my broken arm for this because my wrist is broken, not my forearm. I did try that a couple times. It wasn't ideal, but it works if I really had to. Shortens the lever arm a bit, makes it a bit more stable. But as you can see, it's still not the best option. My feet are moving around everywhere, but this was the only chest exercise that I could actually kind of do. Alright, so for triceps, I've actually been really liking the dumbbell overhead extensions. I find it to be a bit more stable, and the resistance curve to be a bit nicer for my joints using a dumbbell rather than a cable. And as you can see, I'm leaning against the handlebar of the cable stack. I had to re-record this because the handlebar went up my ass. Especially I was flexing my hips, kind of looks a little bit sus. And yeah, so I'm bracing my upper back against that. And then I've got my upper arm going against one of the legs of the cable stack as well. Makes it a bit more stable. You can really push yourself with this, but obviously the dumbbell increments go with 2.5 or something. So it's pretty hard to progressively overload after a while, but I can push myself pretty hard on this. It does get a little bit scary when your grip loosens up and you feel like you're going to drop it on your head, but it's actually a pretty nice movement. Now, same as for triceps, I've really been preferring the dumbbell movements for biceps. Never really got into cable curls, but I've been going back and forth between 2 different exercises for the biceps. This one is a single arm dumbbell preacher curl. As you can see, I'm really inside this machine. Have the seat quite low down to make sure your elbow is quite flexed. Obviously going to be biasing more of that brachioradialis region, sort of that lower bicep, upper forearm area. Super stable, really nice. I'm not sure why my left leg's just bouncing around back there, but it's actually a really great movement that I would do even if I didn't have a broken arm. Now, the second bicep movements that I've been playing around with is this recline curl. Shout out Yo Talks for popularizing this. Now, this one will be biasing more of the biceps region because my shoulder isn't as flexed. It's a bit lower down, close to my shoulder. Key things with this, make sure to stabilize yourself with your feet. Some people even have their arm going across and holding their bicep into place. I don't really like that. If I had something to grip onto with my non-working arm, that would have helped stabilize it a bit more. But this is also super great movement, really stable. I just feel like I could get a bit more stretch down at the bottom, but just the bench getting in the way. Won't let that happen, but also great movement. First session done, little pump check. Definitely feels a bit weird only training one side and not the other. But even just the first session, obviously not going to be any results, but having that arm pumped up and the other not, it already looks like they're about the same size. Now fast forward a few weeks, I don't actually remember why I was training in a t-shirt, but I thought this would be a good comparison. As you can see, my non-broken arm is actually filling out the shirt better than my broken arm. As you can see, the sleeve is kind of gripping my arm a bit more. So my non-broken arm, which has been a weak point for me, is actually bigger than my dominant arm. It's just in these few weeks. Like the gains are coming, baby. Yo, it's been like 6 weeks. I don't know what my hair's doing, but we just got discharged. You. One arm, 2 arms. Look at that. Time to see the final results. Now, it has been a good few weeks. The full 6 weeks has elapsed. Peep the new trim. And overall, I actually feel like there is way less difference now between my left arm and my right arm. And definitely the mind-muscle connection is way better on this one now. And I've only started to get back into training my left one. Like, I've literally been to the gym like once. And it's like so much weaker. And I still can't fully do anything because my pronation and extension, my range of motion is still like pretty bad. But overall, I think my right arm is actually caught up to my left one, which is pretty crazy. Like it could just be placebo, but even just like the strength and everything, I think it's pretty on par. But let's see what the measurements say. I did just wake up, if that makes any difference. Probably not, but how did I do this the first time? The fuck?
Left arm, flexing 1, flexing 1, round, flex, 33.5, flexing is around 27 round, now flex 34.2, flexing.
Holy fuck, I just ripped the measuring tape. Oh, fuck. W tape. There's definitely an easier way to measure your arm size. I think I'm just being an idiot because I'm actually struggling here.
I'm getting 38.5.
Now these results are super interesting. As you can see, my left arm basically had no change. It might have even got a little bit smaller. As you can see here, the right one actually does look a little bit wider. As you can see, it could just be the posing or the lighting. But I actually do think it got a little bit bigger, my non-dominant one. Which makes sense because my left arm didn't have any growth stimulus for like 6 weeks. Obviously, whatever I lost, like whatever atrophy I experienced, I'll regain pretty quickly as soon as I start training again because, you know, muscle memory exists. But however, my right arm did grow quite a bit, as you can see, 3 centimeters. And it actually became bigger than my left arm. It could just be my crappy measuring skills, or there is just more fluid and more of a natural pump left over from my training. I don't actually think that my right arm is now significantly bigger than my left, but it for sure did catch up quite a bit, which I can believe as my mind-muscle connection and my strength did increase over these weeks. And we know that strength and muscle size is somewhat correlated, even though, you know, you've got the neuromuscular coordination adaptations and whatever. But overall, this was an interesting experiment, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to have made something out of my injury. And should you go break a limb to fix muscle imbalances? Probably not. But increasing your volume and prioritizing your lacking areas does actually work if you put in the effort. But anyway, that will be the end of the video. If you guys enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe, and comment to help me out. Let me know if you guys got any questions down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.